So hey guys, this video today is not about this Van Halen paint job or Van Halen guitar. This is only going to be about doing a banana headstock and the woodwork involved. Quite frankly, the paint jobs on this stinks. And it's not because I did a bad job, but it's not my fault entirely. Patience did come in as a factor as why it didn't turn out well, but I used enamel paints, and the reason why I used enamel paints, I'll just quickly try to say, I don't use enamel paints on guitars because it takes a long time to dry. They're kind of soft, they remain tacky for a long time. So I used enamel paints to try to save money because the paints that I use doubled in price like overnight. And I didn't feel that this guitar was worth just investing even $30 in the paint, so I got like $10 worth of paint instead, but then I ended up with a terrible paint job. So I'll never do that again. The enamel paint that I used was Rust-Oleum. I think it's called Painter's Touch. I love that paint for other projects, but not guitars. And so I painted it, and I treated it as if it was the lacquer that I usually use, which is Duplicolor, and I taped it in the amount of time that I normally would tape lacquer paint. And when I removed the tape, it was like molasses, if you can imagine, or like pancake syrup stickiness, and it was ruined. So that's why this didn't come out well. If you use enamel paints, I think you have to seal it with a like a 2K. What is that thing that everyone keeps talking about? The name is slipping me now, but everyone says, why don't you use it, why don't you use it? Well, it's expensive and it's pretty toxic. What is that? Clear something, 2K, clear, something like that. It's like, I don't even know what it costs now, but when I looked, it was like 30 bucks for one can, and you have to use it right away, and it's very toxic. So I think you need that, because also when I tried to wet sand this, the red started bleeding into the white, which that never happens with my lacquer either. Anyway, enough about the paint. I got this guitar and it had this kind of weird headstock, and it's a 3/4 size guitar, if you can tell. It had this weird headstock, kind of like that. That's where it ended. So I thought, since this is not some classic expensive guitar, it's a perfect guitar to experiment and make a banana headstock, or what someone might call, they might call it a hockey stick, which is, this isn't that, but, and I used the wrong kind of wood. I used pine, I think, and this would probably be maple. But to be honest, the woodwork is almost seamless. Like, I think, if you look at it, if you can see, I don't know if it'll brighten up, but the woodwork is seamless. There is this lines right here, but that's actually from the tape that when I did the first paint job on it, and it got ruined. So I'll just do a video after this showing what I did as far as the woodwork. The paint, I have tons of videos on Van Halen guitars, and as a matter of fact, I'm working on a left-handed Van Halen guitar right now that Chris from Pinetop Jackson gave to me. He was paying it forward because people have given him guitars over the years. Right now it has an Ibanez pickup in the humbucker. It had a swimming pool route, so that's why I just jammed those things in there. I didn't think it was worth adding the wood in there for this guitar. Anyway, it works. I got Eddie out of his box for this occasion. This was a gift from my friend Mike. Pop. And anyway, it works. It's a Harmony 3/4 size guitar, and it's a cute little thing. It can go with this Van Halen amp that I have, or if you have a kid which is probably rare these days, a kid that's a Van Halen fan that's just starting out on guitar, you could do this to one of those guitars. A simple project, but use the right kind of paint. Don't be a stupid idiot like me and use the enamel without the Well, this thing sat clamped for about 24 hours. And right now I'm just trying to kind of freehand a shape that I like. I will say that I'm not good at just finding a template on the computer and sizing it to what the size neck that I have, this being a 3/4 size guitar. I'm not really good at even cutting things straight, but I won't let that stop me, and I just try, and it always ends up working out. Maybe not perfect, but it works out, and you always learn things as you go along. So I'm just gonna, there's no biscuits or dowels in this connection here. It's just the wood glue. So I don't think there's much pressure going to be on this part. There is going to be the one hole for the tuner right there. But the only real pressure is going to be when I go to cut this out. And if my old vibrating saw doesn't bust this loose, then I'm pretty confident it's going to be a good connection. So then once I get that cut, I'll start sanding it. And then there is a big difference here. Not a big difference. There's a little difference here where I'll need to sand. So let me get started. And that's about as good as I could expect with me doing this in that method. So now I'm just going to sand it down to finalize the shape and get it smoother. And start filling it in where I need to, drill this hole, and then we'll get to painting it, which should be a lot of fun. This is the final shape that I'm going with. I did use this rasp to just get a little bit more of a curve to here, and this being pine, it was very easy to shape. I went to the store last night and they were out of gloss black. I got the again, I don't normally use this for guitars, but in this case, to save money, I got this Rust-Oleum. This is the only paint that I use for other projects. I really like it. Other projects meaning non-guitar related. I love the way it works, but I don't usually use this for guitars. But in this case, since this is just like kind of like a little goofy little project, and I'm trying to save money, I'm going to do that. So yeah, they were out of gloss black. They were out of black, really. They might have had a satin. But so I'll either just do this in 2 colors, and then the name will be in black, and then I do have some satin black at my work, which is where I'm going to be painting this, because today it's kind of drizzly, and I'm going to do this like right at the edge of my garage door for ventilation and to protect from the rain. But yeah, so I'm not trying to go for a perfect job, but this is what this is how it turned out. And it's kind of funny because this headstock is now almost the size of the guitar body. So I think it's going to be kind of funny looking. And I thought about putting the name, which I'll just do with my printer, 5150, but in script, like in cursive. But I'm not sure yet. So that's about 4 coats. I'll let this dry till where I feel that it's dry to the touch, and then retape it and tape it for the red paint.